from Woj late yesterday afternoon. Woj tweeting the Utah Jazz are now willing to listen to trade offers for all-star guard Donovan Mitchell. Woj then tweeted, the asking price appears to be steep, but in the wake of Utah's recent Rudy Gobert blockbuster deal to Minnesota, the Jazz are no longer simply dismissing calls on Mitchell. All that from Woj. My crew is together here. I've got Canty in our studio. I got Brian Windhorst and Nick Friedell, our NBA insiders, with us as well. Windy, fill in what we can here on the possibilities of Donovan Mitchell. We've been waiting to see if he would be next out of Utah after Rudy Gobert. Now it feels like it's headed in that direction.
Yeah, you could see this coming down the road. Maybe you didn't exactly know when. And even now, Utah is kind of posturing that they're not, totally decided on trading Donovan Mitchell. But, they'll take your phone call with their overwhelming offer. But most people believe that Donovan Mitchell is going to be traded before next season. And so now we have a new entrant into this scenario where we've got a whole bunch of teams out there trying to put something together. And so really, right now, you got 4 teams that are looking to dance and a couple of players that are big-name players. So obviously, the Nets and Kevin Durant. You have Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz. Deandre Ayton, who has been a target of the Pacers and now is sort of thrown into a little bit of limbo as they watch for this to play out. And I have to put Ben Simmons in there because Ben Simmons, he cannot play on the same team as Donovan Mitchell. So if there's a trade scenario that makes sense where we've talked about how the Nets don't have a trade offer that really has them excited and has them even sort of pulling back and sending out the signal that they may retrench and try to bring both Durant and KD back KD and Kyrie back next year. Getting Donovan Mitchell and offering it to them could change up the situation. But it's very hard, even though I can tell you how all 4 of those teams could work together, especially since Indiana is one of the few teams with cap space that can fill in the gaps and sort of, apply some grease and make a deal go. It's hard for me to square that everybody in that situation is going to be satisfied. And at the end of the day, the Phoenix Suns have not been willing to pay a premium to get Durant, which is why we're in this spot. And so to go get Donovan Mitchell, where they're going to need a major premium to then deliver him for Durant, that's a bit of a stretch. But I have to acknowledge that this is out there, and there's a construction that there could be a major deal here.
Look, I like the way you put it in our first hour today. It's hard to get 4 people to agree on where they all want to have dinner. It's even harder to get 4 teams to completely reshape their entire futures at the same time in one deal, but they've got months and months to try and get it done. So, Friedell, pick it up from there. I know there's another possibility in all of this that you like. Where do you see it now with the latest on Donovan Mitchell?
I think the best fit for Mitchell, Greeny, is in Miami. When you watch that Heat team in the postseason, when they struggled offensively and got bogged down, it was Jimmy Butler or nothing. If you bring in Donovan Mitchell and the offensive firepower he can provide, he takes pressure off of Jimmy and he allows that offense to move all around the floor with a lot more ease. And the key to me in all this is that you don't have to gut your team the way you would if you acquired Kevin Durant. Of course, Donovan Mitchell isn't Kevin Durant, but if you're the Heat and you feel like you are one more star away from getting over the hump and into the finals, Mitchell can be the guy potentially for a package that includes Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, a bunch of picks, whatever it takes for Miami. If you don't have to move Bam Adebayo, I'm for, and I think Mitchell to the Heat with Jimmy Butler is a hell of a pairing.
So let me fill in the final piece of this jigsaw puzzle before I bring Canty in for perspective, and that is, Windy, that right now, as Stephen A. Smith is enjoying his vacation, wherever he is screaming at the television, how about the Knicks? How about the Knicks? Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. He's been screaming that for a year, and he wasn't even available then. So how about the Knicks, Windy?
Well, this is the trade that is probably going to attract the most attention, primarily because we saw that Rudy Gobert got 4 first-round draft picks, for the Jazz, and that is going to be the Jazz's priority. They're telegraphing what they want, and the Knicks have 8 available first-round draft picks to trade, including, quite frankly, their own, which are going to be viewed as more valuable because if you trade for, if you get the picks that, if they're from the Suns, where they're going to have Durant and Booker for the foreseeable future, that's not as exciting. You get Knicks picks, and while Donovan Mitchell should make them a better team, it doesn't make them necessarily a championship contender. So the Knicks are going to be in position here. Donovan Mitchell is from the New York area. He is the star they've been looking for at the Garden. There's connections between his agency, CAA, and Leon Rose. A lot of things line up for the Knicks to make the deal. And when you talk to league executives, to be frank with you, Greeny, some people feel that everything the Jazz are doing right now is just an effort to elicit the best offer they can get from the Knicks. And I agree that the Heat are intriguing, but as of this moment, the Heat only have 2 first-round picks that they're allowed to trade. They could do a side deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder that I won't bore you with, where they could get their hands on 3. But the Knicks, from a draft pick standpoint, the Knicks have more to offer than anybody.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.